Well, hello there, YouTube. Here I am dodging periods of rain. These little patches of rain come pouring through, and I was sitting there working on some of the spider and redwood videos there, and thought, man, before it becomes the end of the day, I'm gonna go for another ride. And I'm thinking, well, I'll take the iron. I said, oh, I've been riding the hell out of the street glide here lately. What about the old DR? I don't even remember. I forgot to look on my phone to see when. I have no idea. It's probably been a couple months or better since I've ridden this DR. The last time I rode it was when I took you guys out on those trails that one day. And it was right after I got this Hero. Oh no, that was the first Hero 4 Black that didn't work. This is a second one. It's still got the dust on it from that day. Because I had washed it, because I hadn't washed the thing in like a year. I was going to see, I think everybody's gone out here. There's going to be nothing but scraps out here. Yeah, they're all long gone. I drove by here with my grandson earlier, and man, it was looking pretty bleak. And I got back, and Kelly was up all night with Sophie did something and threw her back out again, so she's dragging her rear legs around once again like she's paralyzed. She does this about once a year. When she does it, she's helpless. She dragged herself around by her front feet. She's really old, and nobody knows for sure how old she is. We're thinking she's got to be around 13, 14. She's crazy old, but she is one tough old gal, though. But it's crazy how she does these things. She was underneath that red barn that's out there on the side of our driveway. We have no idea why that's there. The previous owner had it. There was a lady that lived there. She put it there. Oh man, I'm getting some different variations of light here, and I'm using the Hero 4 on the chin. I hope we're not going to get a bunch of exposure switching and make this weird. I try to avoid using the Hero 4, but it was on the front, and I just left with it. I put the Hero 4 on the side earlier with doing a dual vlog with my grandson, because I was on the street glide, and with that dark shield and that chin mount, it's hard to, I don't know, I just don't get the feeling right where it's sitting in the view that you get. So I put it on the side. But of course I have to use I didn't have to use the Hero 4, but I keep the Hero 4 in the Cena setup. Oh my God, I was behind this guy from my house. Are you kidding me? I went doglegging through all these side roads, and I end up behind this guy again? This is not even possible. And look, when he hits his right turn signal, the left one flashes. He's probably going, damn, that's a motorcycle that followed me for 10 miles. I was planning on coming straight out this way, and I thought, well, let me just swing by the threshing bee. So, dang it, I was looking forward to that, and yesterday morning, it starts Friday night. There's like a big party Friday night, and there's a cookout and a band and stuff like that. And then Saturday is usually the main day, because there are people, depending on what kind of reaction they get, a lot of them will bail out around noon on Sunday, So there is a loss of some of the vendors when you wait till Sunday to go. Ooh, that looks like it could be gravelly. Oh yeah, not too bad. Freaked that car out. I didn't realize he was on my ass that close. Was I not going fast enough? But anyway, I went out there about 5:30 Um, Last evening, I was doing some recorded runs and for like playing around with the suspension. Just so you know, if you're wondering, well, it would be different for you because you're different weight and you might have a passenger on all the time. Most of the time, I don't have a passenger, so you know I set the sag on those new progressive 944 shocks for me. But 5 turns in on both shocks, perfect, absolutely perfect. The first run I did, I think I was on. Actually, I think I did a late night. God, I do so many vlogs on that street glide. You literally have no idea. I mean, I ride that thing like all the time. It seems like, and I hardly ever ride it to work because it racks up a bunch of miles when I do that. So I've probably ridden it to work 3 times, maybe 4. 'Cause that's a 150-mile whap right there, you know. But anyway, I got 1,700 miles on it, and it's just, oh yeah, this Hero 4 is going to freak out in this. But anyway, racking up miles in that thing. And when I do ride it to work, I literally vlog the whole way. I'm almost vlogging myself out, and I'm not using any of it. And you know, I'm one of these people. I can't force myself to. You know, I'll accidentally tell a story again, but I can't repeat a story. You know, because usually you're in a mood when you say it, when you tell it, or something like that. Well, if I don't use it in the vlog, I know I've already told the story, so I feel like, you know, that you ever start to tell somebody a story and you realize, you get that hot flash that comes over and you realize you've already told this person this story and they're just being completely kind and not telling you, look, you've already told me this story before, but they're going to sit there and nicely take it. That embarrasses me more than anything. Horrifies me. It's like, oh my God, I've told them the story. And then you remember telling them, you know, plain as day, you remember where you were and everything when you told them the story, and you're just like, and they're not even going to say a word. They were just going to sit there and take it. Oh, that's worse than anything. It's one thing to think you've told somebody a story once before and you're telling them again, but to know you did and they're being kind and acting all interested like they haven't heard it before. Oh, that's so bad. I just want to crawl in the hole. I hate stuff like that. Oh, cool, and I got the sun in your face too. That was behind some clouds. They dispersed quickly. Boy, them winds aloft are moving fast. It's crazy to look out over my fields and watch how fast them clouds are going. It's nuts. Oh yeah, this is going to be all kinds of in your face. Boy, you have to wear something underneath this mesh jacket. It's only like 65 out here. Oh, that's saying 70. Huh, that's saying 69. It was 65 at my house. Why is it so much colder over there? Maybe because it's been hiding behind some clouds a lot longer than it has here. God, this thing feels so light and spunky. Forget how comfortable this thing is, and it's so smooth. It's the weirdest thing to ride a single cylinder that's just smooth. And speaking of suspension, this thing will just, you know, it's not motocross or nothing like that, but I mean, for what you encounter on the road, it just soaks up anything that you encounter. I've really got to be careful. There's so many deer down low here. Not that we're low, but in the greater scheme of things, we are low, as the mountains go way up from here. But the way the brakes work, it's so light and nimble. You kind of get that little, you want to go rebel, you know. You want to turn hooligan. So what are we looking like today? That's pretty cool. It's not quite that golden hour look by no means, but there's the old barn. Ooh, I see a tree fell down behind it. See, the wind hasn't peeled any of the roof off. That was quite the storm. If I use any of the Street Glide videos from doing the recorded runs with the Super Tuner Pro and seeing how the shocks work after an adjustment, the wind is now, because it's a light wind and it's just clearing the junk off. But and then people driving through here like churning up the small pieces, and then the light wind that's out here just kind of blows it away. So it just has a way of disappearing off the road. But it looked like a war zone going through here. The other nice thing about this DR is it is insanely quiet. I know the last time I rode the DR, I took it for a quick after-work ride, and that's when I stopped at this house to show you guys that Kelly and I had looked at it, and about the property and how there's no water and all that crazy stuff. Now, why wouldn't the realtor tell us that over the phone before we even came out here? I guess ultimately they are a salesman, and the goal is to sell. So Kelly and I might be the gullible sap that would buy a house that's sliding off the hill and has no water. Geez, even there's a huge difference. I drove through here with my, did I drive through here? Yeah, I drove through here with my grandson. Did I? No, I cut it short. I was going to. But there's a huge rain cloud, and I ended up having to ride the Street Glide down some soaking wet roads where the cloud had passed. I thought it was near my house, and I kind of missed my house, but it hit some back roads kind of behind it or west of it or whatever. Here comes our burnt house. But I used to ride through here all the time, and I'd see that little house and people living there, and they'd be out in the yard BSing, a couple old boys leaning on the back of a pickup truck shooting the bull. I used to think, what a cute house, but I had no idea anything about the backyard. Of course, the water and everything was working then because the guy owned a whole bunch of land around here, these different parcels. And he was getting water from there's an underground spring over in these fields over here. Well, when he let it go back to the bank divided everything up and cut that water thing off. Man, why does that thing stink so much more now than what it did? I mean, quite a bit more. Probably because it got wet. It's like the cedar mill. You go by there after there's been a little bit of a rain or something. Man, the smell coming off of that thing is intense. It's pretty crazy. But this old DR, it's so quiet. I love it. I mean, everybody, you have to have a quiet motorcycle. In your stable of bikes, you have to have one that's quiet. Because it is so peaceful. And the thing is, it's not gutless. There's nothing about this thing that tells me, wow, I need to put a jet kit in it and put a loud pipe on it and make a bunch of racket. That would just be making racket to make racket, just for the sake of making racket. It would serve no purpose. And it's amazing how many people just go, that thing's too quiet. You got to get an exhaust on that thing. That's horrible. It's so quiet. That's just the way I like it. They go beating through the woods and whatever, and I can sneak up on things. What is with it's got to be people leaving the threshing bee. There's a bunch of farmers out here, and they've probably had equipment and different things they do out here. A bunch of multi-tasking people out here. It's amazing how many different things, when you meet them, how many different things they're into. They may be a mill worker, but they also have a farm, and they've got a collection of old tractors, and they sell trinkets of some sort at swap meets, and it's like, got so many irons in the fire. It's like, wow, you busy enough? It's weird when you look around. There's nobody around. You suddenly, I mean, it's obviously people in these houses and stuff, but you suddenly get this weird feeling you're all alone. Look how green that turned just from the rains we've had. I mean, this is just an inherently a green place. Water touches it, and the grasses just go, whoa! You ought to see what my yard's doing. And mind you, it only started raining Friday night, and today's Sunday, and you can already see green showing up. It's amazing it can do it that fast. It's pretty nuts, actually. How long have we been babbling along? What do we got coming across the road here? Looks like a cat or something. Nope, some old rickety dog. Oh, look at that little lab out there. A couple of buddies out cruising around. They do what my dogs do. They go to God knows where. Well, thankfully the mother, her name is Trouble, and she would go visit a brown lab that lived across the street, and we got a couple of litters out of that, but damn hawks and stuff got them. Then there was one litter there was a white lab, a brown lab, and that red colored, a black and a red colored one. I guess a brown lab or whatever, but it was almost purple. So we had all three colors. And there was one that I named Chance that wasn't going to make it, and I nursed that little puppy back to life, and it was the cutest puppy. I love that stupid little mutt. And one day we come home and she's missing, and then we found out this old guy that lives down the street was having some work or an add-on or something to his house that lives way down. It's like 2 miles down our dirt road. He just lives way out there by himself. I mean, there's nothing out there. Nothing but the side of a mountain. But he had construction workers going back and forth doing some odd work or whatever for him. And we're thinking one of them just picked him up and took him. It's weird how you get an attraction to something. I mean, the dog was, good Lord, 7 or 8 weeks old, maybe. Maybe it was older than that. It's probably about 10 weeks old. And he was already weaned and everything, and eating puppy food and whatnot. But he was so cute. You know, in typical lab, you know, they're just smart as a, well, I don't know if they're that smart, but they listen to you, you know, they don't have an attitude. You call them, they come. And it's like they have, you know, feelings, you know, deep feelings that if they didn't do it, what you said, that you'd scald them or something. Here, a plane just really, oh. Wow, that little plane was making a bunch of racket. It's almost like he was taking off in the wind. Look at that, all the campers still bailing out. Of course, when I drove by there, that's about all that was left down there was campers. What the hell, we'll drive by there. This is going to be the end of my day here. That's the guy that was following me up the hill. He must be just going out picking up people's campers, or maybe it was his own. Who knows? But he was pulling out of a side road not too far from my house. And if I was vlogging, I'd have made a comment. You know, he's an old bearded guy or whatever, and here I'm bombing down the highway at 60 miles an hour, and he comes pulling out of these trees where the driveway was, and he actually stopped and waited. That was the perfect recipe for somebody to pull out in front of me. Yep, so the threshing bee for 2015 is gone, and I didn't go to it. But with the windstorms, I mean crazy windstorms we had yesterday morning, I'm sure that a whole bunch of people pulled out on that. Because like I say, when I came through after the storm passed, I come out here, it's about 5:30 I think it was, and drove by here, and it was slim pickings, and you could see a bunch of people were folding up. But like I mentioned last night, a lot of them don't leave all their stuff out. They kind of put things away and go home for the night. But as many holes as there were out there last night, that was way too many. Not that many people leave. Because I drive, I'll go to it, but then, I drive by it a bunch of times. Just because I think it's cool, and you can smell diesel and old tractor diesel, and you hear the old Johnny Poppers out there clunking along out there, and it's all just, I don't know, it's a cool environment. But I think the storm chased them all off this year. And then when I got back with my grandson and Kelly's, she's crashed out of sleep. She said that we were gone, it was all quiet, and she thought she'd just lay down and take a cat nap, and hell, she didn't wake up till about 4 o'clock. And by then, most of the people are gone anyway. Well, I think I'm going to conclude this Sunday afternoon, sort of almost end of day ride on the old DR. Feels good to take the old gal out and play with her a bit. I forget how smooth and fun this thing is. It's just shockingly smooth. My old one was smooth as well, but it had these dual chain-driven counterbalancers that were kind of, if you're old enough, you're into building old cafe bikes, the old single cam Hondas, the 400s, 500s, 550s, 650s, and 750s that all stemmed from the CB 750 and what was that, 69. But that cam chain noise it makes, there's this ever-present sound, You just hear that chain sound all the time. Well, that's what my old DR sounded like. You'd hear it coming from the left crankcase. The balancer was kind of running behind the flywheel, and one of the balancers was back by the transmission. One was kind of in front of the front lower part of the crank. I think it was the lower. It could have been the upper. Whatever. There was no external adjustment for it, so you had to pull the stator cover off and adjust the balancer chain. Man, that was all but too frequent. You had to do that, it seemed like. But it was a fun bike. I loved it. I loved it enough that, I could have killed myself after I sold it. And I had this undying desire to get a dual sport again, and lo and behold, guy shows up with this thing. He had bought it 5 months prior and had 347 miles on it. The price was right. Called the bank. It was so right, the bank, the gal literally says, well, when can you come sign the papers for it? You don't mind loaning money when they're very right side up in something. Not much risk, But anyway, I should ride it way more. It's only got 1,940 miles on it. I'm literally about 150 miles of that on my street glide, and I picked that thing up on July 29th. So I've had it a month and I already have almost that many miles on it. But, you're more apt to take longer street rides on it. This one you're going to horse around on more. But that does remind me, it's about to roll over in 60 miles. Well, it's got 45 miles on it. That's probably a third of a tank. And because it's been so long since I rode it, we're going to top her off with some fresh fuel. So, as I've done so many times before, I'm going to bid you adieu right here. See, I've got this thing about hump did I choose? I don't know what that is. I'm a creature of habit. But anyway, always end up stopping right here. I love how these gas prices are going down. Look at that premium, $3.19. Hell yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna fill up the old beast here and head up to the house and do some more work on some videos. I took my video break and rode the old gal that I haven't ridden in a while. Poor old DR. See, look at all the dust it still has on it from... Oh no, that wasn't those trails when I got the camera. That's when I went out to find that old bridge on the South Fork of the Toledo River. That's when she got all dusted out. She still looks that way. I mean, I haven't even ridden enough to blow the dust off. Crazy, huh? The old rear tire's starting to thin out a bit there, too. It's all that damn street riding I do on it. And I ride a little higher than normal tire pressures, too, so it's gonna... Well, these things will wear out the center anyway when you ride them on the road, but... Anyway, I'm gonna say goodbye. I'll let you watch the Canadian geese coming straight at me. Oh, they're banking. There's no way this Cena picked up that sound, which is a shame. Maybe it did. But that's when you know fall's coming. You start hearing them geese. They land in the fields around us, and they'll spend the night there, and they'll get up the next morning and take off. Next night, the next flock comes in, lands in the same place. It's just a nightly thing. It'll go on for quite some time. But man, how peaceful and quiet is it out here on a Sunday night? Wind blowing around. The wind actually feels really, really good. It's just so peaceful. Anyway, I gotta let you go. Yeah, 31 minutes. I definitely gotta let you go. We'll see you now. Thanks for tagging along for a little ride. I needed a break, and nothing better than taking a motorcycle for a ride on a break, right? So thanks for hanging out. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye now.